The Yellowstone franchise's 10 most controversial stories, moments, and characters. Like Taylor Sheridan's other works, Yellowstone is no stranger to controversy. Certain stories, moments, and Yellowstone characters stand out to its viewers as particularly disruptive or disturbing, adding to the ever-expanding conversation about the screenwriter's neo-Western franchise following the Dutton family. Controversy surrounds all three Yellowstone shows, with moments in 1883 and 1923 bothering viewers. Still, Sheridan's flagship probably has the most noteworthy moments. Controversy surrounded Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 in particular, with the way Kevin Costner's departure as John Dutton III was handled causing an uproar. Without John Dutton, Yellowstone's final season was riddled with divisive choices that made the ending chapters all the more riveting. That said, a few moments in Yellowstone's spin-offs go too far, as well, like the ones unfolding in 1923 Season 2. Fans are quick to call out screenwriter Taylor Sheridan for creating storylines that can be difficult or altogether bizarre and ridiculous to witness. 10. Elsa Dutton's 1883 death. One major plot point in the Yellowstone timeline that caused unrest among fans was Elsa Dutton's death in 1883. Isabel May plays James, Tim McGraw, and Margaret Dutton's, Faith Hill, daughter in the Yellowstone prequel. Elsa is a second-generation Dutton, and her family's story in 1883 serves as the Dutton family's origin story and the tale of how the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch was established. As such, Elsa's death was pivotal to the franchise, with her final resting place in Paradise Valley marking where the family would stay. Still, many fans were downright mad to see Elsa Dutton killed off in 1883's ending, dying in her father's arms against a tree as the father and daughter discuss their first earthly memories. Elsa's death is genuinely upsetting, with McGraw reflecting on the heartbreaking 1883 death, saying that he and May were a blubbering mess while filming it. While many fans would have liked to see 1883 Season 2, the series is perfect as a single segment, and Elsa's death is essential to the franchise. Still, it's sad to watch, and wasn't received well by many. 9. Bella Hadid's Yellowstone cameo. Another controversial moment for the franchise was when Bella Hadid appeared in Yellowstone Season 5 alongside Travis Wheatley, Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone character, as his girlfriend. Hadid's role in the episode involves convincing Beth Dutton, Kelly Reilly, that Wheatley is attractive despite his brazen and misogynistic attitude, with Hadid asking Reilly's character if she had ever seen her boyfriend ride. Beth ultimately caves, agreeing that Sheridan's character is, indeed, attractive, making the cameo all the more unbelievable. The cameo was controversial because it appeared that Hadid's casting was to stroke Sheridan's ego, with the screenwriter pairing his Yellowstone character with arguably the most famous supermodel working today, and fans didn't love the decision. Many questioned why Bella Hadid had a Yellowstone cameo, and apparently, there's another perfectly good reason. Hadid dates a famous rodeo competitor and runs among various cowboy crowds. Still, her cameo felt out of place and took up precious time in the show's final season. 8. Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone Season 5 role. An equally controversial Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 appearance was that of Taylor Sheridan himself. While Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone appearances as horse trainer and trader Travis Wheatley are common throughout the show's 5 seasons, Travis Wheatley's role in Season 5 was more robust and out of place. The most abhorrent segment of Sheridan's appearances was in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, when his character took up significant screen time in the penultimate episode of the original show. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, Beth travels to Texas to ensure that Wheatley fulfills his end of the bargain, selling the Yellowstone Ranch's show horses. It's unbelievable that John's daughter finds the need to drive down to Wheatley's ranch to oversee him doing his job. Moreover, once she is in Texas, Beth gets pulled into Wheatley's party antics. While some fans didn't mind Sheridan's character, others couldn't stand his behavior, and the detour into his life eclipsed the events of Yellowstone's penultimate episode. 7. Donald and Lindy's relationship in 1923. One of the most controversial prequel storylines is the relationship between Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, and a sex worker named Lindy, Madison Elise Rogers, in 1923. They meet in 1923 Season 1 as Lindy works with another sex worker named Christy, Kaylin Rice. While Lindy and Christy originally fool around with Banner Creighton, Jerome Flynn, Donald Whitfield immediately makes the sexual encounters darker and more violent when Creighton leaves. In 1923 Season 2, Donald Whitfield and Lindy's relationship had evolved. In the 1923 Season 1 premiere, Donald and Lindy share a bath, with Whitfield sharing more personal matters with the sex worker, with whom he cohabits. For many fans, Donald and Lindy's treatment of Christy was too much, understandably. 1923 Season 2 reveals that Whitfield and Lindy still associate with Christy, who is seemingly being kept against her will in a closet. 6. John Dutton III's death in Yellowstone Season 5. John Dutton III's death in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9, Desire is All You Need, will go down in history as one of the show's defining controversial moments. The death of Yellowstone's most pivotal character happened in the premiere of Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, following Kevin Costner's exit from the franchise. Costner quit due to the dances with Wolf's actor and Yellowstone's creators failing to reach an arrangement that worked for all parties. John's dying to kick off Yellowstone's final chapter was a bleak way to open the episode. While his death brought Case, Luke Grimes, and Beth to the forefront, with his kids stepping up to run the ranch and setting up their Yellowstone spinoffs, Costner's exit eclipses the final season story. Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9, Desire is All You Need, and the rest of Yellowstone Season 5 are some of Yellowstone's lowest-rated episodes. 5. Beth's hatred for Jamie. While Beth's scorn is understood by most who adore Kelly Reilly's character, Yellowstone fans have also been critical of Beth for her hatred of Jamie, Wes Bentley, her adopted brother. Those who criticize Beth empathized with John's adopted son for being shipped off to law school and just being a kid himself when he decided on Beth's abortion. Many say that Beth's evil digs at her brother were excessive and unnecessary, with some fans even commenting that Beth's melodrama caused them to skip through her parts. Still, for many other Yellowstone lovers, despite her antics, Beth Dutton is one of the most likable characters for her sassy zingers paired with the deep-seated love she feels for those closest to her. Personally, I think Beth's digs at Jamie were a bit melodramatic, Beth telling Jamie, "I will just quietly put you out to pasture, lives rent-free in my head," but Beth Dutton is still one of my favorite Yellowstone characters. Reilly's performance as Beth is incredible, and the series wouldn't be the same without her. 4. The 1883 character's teeth. 1883, the earliest prequel that follows James and Margaret Dutton on their northwestern Oregon Trail journey, depicts the Dutton family from the 19th century. Therefore, it's unlikely James' wife and children had the great smiles they did, with white, straight teeth, making for a historical inaccuracy in 1883's story. Bearing that in mind, some Yellowstone viewers found fault with the 1883 character's teeth, saying they were too good for the time. That said, I find this critique funny. I might have had to turn the prequel off if that's the detail that Taylor Sheridan decided to get just right. Yellowstone's creators were more historically accurate with the vagabonds who ride with Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklenar, in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4. The train dwellers who asked Dutton to pay the train tax have gray, gritty teeth, and their scene was the most exposure I needed from Yellowstone on this matter. 3. Case sells the Yellowstone Ranch to the Broken Rock tribe. For many, Case's decision to sell the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch to Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham, and the Broken Rock tribe was another controversial moment for Yellowstone Season 5. Ahead of the Season 5 finale, Case actor Luke Grimes warned some Yellowstone fans wouldn't like the series ending. When it premiered at the end of 2024, Grimes turned out to be right, with many reviews of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Life is a Promise, considering it a letdown. Still, Case's treatment of the Broken Rock tribe and his family's ranch is worth consideration as one of Yellowstone's best moments. The ending is uplifting for the Native American community, who regains stewardship of their ancestors' land, which is a subversive ending for a Western tale. For those who appreciated it, the controversial Yellowstone Season 5 finale was a beautiful ending to Taylor Sheridan's flagship work, fulfilling the Yellowstone prophecy, spelled out in 1883. 2. Summer's Yellowstone fate. Summer Higgins was John Dutton's pseudo-girlfriend in Yellowstone seasons 4 and 5. The pair met after Summer led protests around Bozeman, crossing paths with each member of the Dutton family. When John gives Summer a ride, the pair get to know each other, and eventually, to Beth's complete dismay, Summer ends up sleeping with John. The governor of Montana eventually takes Summer on as his environmental advisor, but Summer's story had an abrupt and sour ending, causing some to decry that Piper Perabo got a raw deal in Yellowstone. After John's death, Beth reveals that Summer was free to go all along, despite John telling her she was under house arrest. The detail felt convenient and tainted John's good deed a bit. That's not to mention Beth kicks Summer to the curb and tells her to get a ride into town and never look back, without hearing the nice sentiments Summer has to share about John after his death. 1. John Dutton and Rip Wheeler's murderous tendencies. While their violent tendencies are baked into Yellowstone and normalized for some, others are critical of John and Rip's murderous tendencies. John Dutton and his cowboys regularly murdered those who crossed the ranch, which is part of running the business, but it felt extreme at times. For some, John and Rip's impulse to take people to Yellowstone's train station was a line that Taylor Sheridan crossed too easily, tainting the main Yellowstone characters with a violent and unpalatable record of murder. The other Yellowstone prequel shows help explain how people have always come after the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, and the family has long had to protect it. Still, the violence and murder without accountability feel more forgivable in the prequels, which take place in the titular years of 1883 and 1923, respectively. I've heard people say John and Rip's violent antics make them some of the least likable Yellowstone characters, which is a fair take, although their behavior is right at home in Taylor Sheridan's gritty neo-western.